Are you looking for the best bandsaw in your budget? Well, in today's video we break down the top 5 best bandsaw that are available on the market. I made this list based on their price, quality, durability, and more. To find out more information about this product, you can check out the description below, and also make sure you subscribe for more reviews. Okay, so let's get started with the video. At the first position of our list we have the JWBS14DX PRO Band Saw. The JWBS14DX PRO is a more professional model out there if you want to do commercial work. The table of this saw was massive and is perhaps our favorite feature. It measures 15 inches by 15 inches, which is large enough to handle nearly any project. We also quite liked the blade adjustments on this model. They were incredibly fast and easy, more so than any other saw we reviewed. Plus, it has a rear view window that allows you to see just how the blade is aligned. This helps ensure the blade is exactly where you want it to be and prevents you from making unnecessary mistakes. The vertical capacity of this saw is also quite large. It can cut pieces up to 12 inches in height. The blade guard is adjustable from 0 to 12 inches as well. This massive adjustability helps you stay safe no matter what project you're working on. This 14 inches band saw also includes a riser block, which allows you to adjust the cutting height faster. If you work on a lot of projects of varying heights, this feature can be a lifesaver. With all of these adjustable features, this saw really is designed to accommodate whatever project you are working on. On top of the adjustability, this saw is also quite durable. We appreciated that it was made with high-quality materials. The frame itself is cast iron and can stand up to a lot of beating. We did have some worries that the table would be flimsy due to its adjustability. However, these fears were quickly squished as we started using it. The table is quite sturdy and will likely last for decades to come. Perhaps the most significant feature that contributes to this saw's durability is the ball bearing guides. These guides help cut down on friction and vibration, which contributes to the overall sturdiness of the machine. You don't have to worry about this saw breaking anytime soon. It truly is designed to last forever. The only complaint we had about this saw is that it doesn't come with a fence. For the price, this feature really should be included. While there are aftermarket fences available, no one wants to spend even more money on an expensive saw. Moving on to the next at number 2 with the Grizzly G0555LX Deluxe Band Saw. This is a good band saw in its own way due to its features like cast iron frame, heavy-duty stand, and powder coating. In our opinion, this is a good unit for the serious home shop user at a reasonable price. Like most saws, this one does require quite a bit of assembly. However, much of the process is very straightforward. It only took us a couple of hours to piece this saw together and get to work. Like you would expect, this saw is also quite heavy, but less than no number 1 pick. Once we get into cutting, we began to appreciate just how accurate this saw was. It cut exactly where we wanted it to every time. This band saw machine is very quiet and produces little vibrations. To keep the saw accurate, you do have to perform a few alignment tasks every time you change the blade. However, we did not find this too time-consuming and it is definitely worth it for this level of accuracy. The fence included with the re-sawing attachment is very well made. You need a clamp-on hose to hold the dust collection port and still have to blow the dust out off the lower blade guides. But that doesn't affect the performance of the saw. Our only true complaint about this saw is that the trunnion can slip out of alignment quite easily. Overall, other than being a top-rated model, this is also one of the best band saws under $1,000. The number 3rd position we have the WEN 3962 Band Saw. WEN is known for making inexpensive yet high-quality machines, and their band saw is no different. While this saw was not as good as some of the others, it is a great value for the cost. This machine is quite powerful. We were surprised by how much raw power it produced for such a little price tag. It has a 3.5 amp motor, which should be plenty for most consumers. We also liked that this saw allowed you to choose between 2 different cutting speeds. This was not a feature we expected to find on a budget bandsaw, and we found it very useful for many of our projects. One of our favorite features was this saw's dust port. This might sound strange, but we really found the dust port quite awesome. It is designed to fit 3 different sized dust collection hoses. We had not seen this feature on another saw, and really enjoyed the versatility and options it gave us. This saw is not as adjustable as some of the others. However, it can use different sized blades, which is always a plus. It fits blades between 1/8 to 1/2 of an inch. This should be more than enough options to fit your needs. Of course, you do have to buy all these extra sizes. Still, for how much this saw costs, the extra money you need to spend on blades shouldn't be too large of an issue. With all that said, you do get what you pay for with this saw. It is on the cheaper side, and that becomes obvious in a few places. Firstly, the assembly was not as easy as we would have liked. It took quite a while and the instructions were not exactly very straightforward. Secondly, there was also no tension scale or indicator. This isn't necessarily a must-have feature, but we did miss it. This saw comes with 2-year warranty. Next at number 4 we have the POWERTEC BS900 bandsaw. This is the lightest and cheap bandsaw we came across. You know, when you buy a cheap product, there may some downsides to it. You may like some features in this saw, but most of the time you will end being frustrated about frequent breakdowns. Most of this saw is made out of plastic, which is not durable as heavier materials. This saw might be good for light, infrequent jobs, but we do not recommend it for cutting heavier stock. The tension knob, in particular, is rather flimsy and prone to breaking. This saw also uses non-standard dust collectors. That means you will either have to hunt down a dust collector that just happens to fit, which is rather difficult from our experience, or buy an adapter. This saw is decently cheap, so we can't really complain there. However, the extra money we had to shell out on an adapter was still extra we didn't want to spend. Assembly was also not as easy as we would like. We recommend reading the assembly instructions thoroughly multiple times before you begin assembling this saw. You also might want to have an extra blade or two on hand. Of course, everything was not all bad. This saw is cheaper than many others, which explains the low-quality materials used. For a hobby saw, this one might be a decent choice. It is decently durable in most cases despite being made almost entirely of plastic. However, it still isn't our value pick. The motor isn't the most powerful thing out there, but if you let it cut at its own pace, it does quite well. And finally at number 5th position we have the Rikon 10-305 band saw. This 10-inch band saw is great for entry-level woodworker, but with less power. Being less powerful, it can still cut through the hard and soft wood easily. It cuts straight, smooth and perfect on any kind of wood. We particularly appreciated the cast iron table, which is very even and smooth. Adjusting the saw is also quite easy. The instructions in the user's manual are very straightforward and easy to follow. Adjustments only take a moment or two and don't require a lot of trial and error. It is a perfect band saw for those on small space. We liked that the fence was adjustable, though the adjustment mechanism didn't work all the time. At about an 80% success rate, it failed just enough to be annoying without negatively impacting the performance of the saw. This saw's miter slot is adequate, but is of a non-standard size. Once again, this feature was frustrating, but not troublesome enough to knock the saw down to the 5th place. One of the biggest cons of this tool was the blade that came with it. We didn't that it has low-quality blades. The teeth were terribly malformed and even smashed in a few places. While this saw isn't the most expensive on this list, it still costs quite a bit of money. The fact that we had to buy another blade was very disappointing. If you are a hobbyist with a tiny shop, this is your bandsaw. Thanks for watching, and that's all for now. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till next time.